Welcome back to our channel. Today we bring you the shocking and dramatic developments of the episode that aired on Tuesday, June 3rd. No one in town ever thought that Leslie would knock on someone's door for help. The woman has always been associated with an image of being strong, independent and secretive to the point that people think she can overcome everything with just a cold look and steps that never retreat. But this time, something is really wrong. A shadow quietly creeps into her life, causing her to lose control, which is her most dangerous weapon. And when Leslie seeks help, not from her close friends, not even from her colleagues, but from someone no one would expect, someone she had cut off contact with years ago, everything that was stable inside her begins to collapse. The house where Leslie appeared was not in a familiar area. She did not ring the bell, nor did she bring any explanation other than heavy eyes and an envelope sealed with red wax. The existence of that envelope was a confession that she could no longer control the story she was living. The person who opened the door was stunned for a moment, before quietly inviting her in. No one said anything. In that room, memories buried for many years between two people were awakened, along with an old secret that had been eroded by time. And Leslie knew clearly. From the moment she made this decision, she had no way back. In another place, a few blocks away, Naomi and Haley left the house at the same time without prior appointment. That coincidence was not simply a coincidence. The sky poured a light rain, without warning, as if the universe wanted to erase all traces of what was about to happen. They meet at an old crossroads, which was once a meeting place in the past, but now is just the beginning of a series of unpredictable events. A strange man approaches them with an intricately carved wooden box, saying that inside is a warning from a world they once tried to forget. Naomi refuses to open the box. But Haley, unable to resist the temptation, touches it. It is at that moment that everything changes. From that day on, Naomi begins to encounter strange images in her dreams, doors opening to other dimensions, faceless figures, and voices calling her name from within her subconscious. Haley, on the other hand, becomes quieter, as if her soul is separated from reality. She begins to draw continuously, uncontrollably, strange shapes that she herself does not recognize. One of the paintings would later reveal a place Leslie had been to, though Naomi had never told anyone about it. There seemed to be an invisible thread between the three of them. And the wooden box was the trigger that triggered it all. Meanwhile, Danny, who seemed to have nothing to do with the other three, was facing another crisis, a crisis called Andre. He appeared in her life as a ray of light, as a promise of a peaceful and fulfilling future. But as time passed, that light grew dimmer. Andre became more distant. The silences in conversation grew longer. His answers became vague, as if he was hiding something bigger than conflict or work pressure. Danny began to wonder if she was just a small part of the bigger picture that Andre was hiding. Doubt seeped into every detail of their lives, from the late texts, the nights he came home late for no reason, to the calls he walked out of the room to answer. She felt like she was being pushed aside, even though they were still, on the surface, the perfect couple. One afternoon, while Danny was reorganizing Andre's bookshelves, something she often did as a way to get a glimpse into his inner world, she discovered a document hidden behind some old books. Inside was a detailed drawing of a room that didn't belong in any building she knew. Strange symbols, interlocking circles, and handwritten in red ink, "Gate number 3, never come back." At first, she thought it was a draft for some kind of art or architectural project. But when she compared some of the details, she was shocked to realize the drawing was eerily similar to one of Haley's recent paintings, even though they had never met. The truth slowly emerged from the fragments. It all revolved around a concept that they had never dared to believe was real before: gates. Not physical gates like garden gates or city gates, but boundaries between layers of reality. Someone, or something, was trying to open those gates. Leslie may be the one who has walked through them. Naomi and Haley are being pulled into the vortex from the other side. And Andre, the man Danny loves, may be the one who holds the key. From here, the signs gradually become clearer. The town clocks start to run out of time, even though no one has touched them. Animals are behaving strangely. Children draw inexplicable pictures in the classroom. One night, Naomi receives an anonymous letter containing a message written in an ancient language, which can only be translated by the code mentioned in the documents Leslie is holding. They are forced to find each other. Three women, with three separate stories, are now drawn into a common destiny, where they are no longer ordinary people, but living witnesses to an event that can change the boundaries between worlds. Leslie, after leaving that mysterious house, is no longer herself. She couldn't sleep. The dreams repeated themselves with increasing intensity, like a fragment of memory torn to pieces and re-emerging in distorted fragments. In those dreams, she stood before a giant gate made of cold metal, engraved with symbols that no human language could explain. A hand always reached out from behind the gate, bloody, trembling, as if calling for help. And behind it was the sound of an entity that had never had a form, just a scream with no origin, but it made Leslie's heart clench every time she woke up. She knew that the thing behind that gate should not be released. But she herself had once passed through one of those gates as a young girl caught up in a forbidden ritual on a red moonlit night in a remote mountain region whose name no one remembered. She survived, but the price she paid was seeing things no one else was allowed to see. And now, that past has returned, demanding revenge by touching people who are completely unrelated. Naomi is increasingly consumed by hallucinations. She sees her own reflection in the mirror, but with different eyes, the eyes of a dead person. Haley becomes so depressed that she doesn't get out of bed for days. But the paintings continue to be created. Somehow, she paints unconsciously. And each painting depicts a clearer and clearer scene of the gate Leslie once saw. One time, she paints a scene with three figures standing in front of a door, behind which are thousands of hands trying to squeeze through the smallest of gaps. The painting makes Naomi vomit uncontrollably when she looks at it. She realizes, the third image in the painting is herself. Danny was slowly drifting between reality and doubt. Andre was becoming more and more elusive. She was no longer sure she knew who he was. Once, while searching through an old computer he had used, she discovered an audio file recorded almost a year ago. In the recording, Andre's voice was heard, but speaking in a language other than English. The sounds were eerie, like whispers in a deep cave. The sound of muffled wind and the sound of water flowing in the opposite direction. The scariest part of the file was the end, where his voice lowered and he uttered a single sentence in his native language. She must not know this. Danny threw the computer to the floor, her heart pounding. That night, she left home without saying a word. She went to find Leslie, the only person who could help her connect the pieces that were driving her crazy. When the two meet, without saying a word, their eyes reveal that they are trapped in the same maze. The four of them, Leslie, Naomi, Haley, Danny, are now forced to become one. They realize that each is part of the final defense mechanism that an ancient force once placed on humanity, the gatekeepers. 4 people are chosen in each generation, not to prevent the gate from opening, but to prepare for the day when it inevitably does. And that day has come. They begin to collect the fragments of the ancient map, hidden in 4 locations. In an ancient scripture in an abandoned church, in a statue in a deep lake, in a locked cabinet in a sealed university library, and finally, in Leslie's own memory, where she was hypnotized to forget the true location of the last piece. During their journey to retrieve the map fragments, they encounter entities from the other world. Once, while diving into the lake to retrieve the statue containing the second map fragment, Haley was pulled down to the bottom by a force. She recounts that an eyeless woman's face, with a mouth full of blood, whispered in her ear, "Don't sew the gate back together. If you do, everything will burn." Naomi doesn't believe it, thinking it's a hallucination. But she herself is later attacked by a creature with a humanoid body but no bones, just skin and liquid blood, moving by crawling on the ceiling. Meanwhile, Leslie and Danny go to the abandoned church, where they are confronted by a blind priest who knows each of them by name. He has waited for them for nearly 30 years, saying that his only duty is to guard the book, never read it, never touch it, and when the time comes, he will give it to those who are worthy. When Danny touches the book, All the crosses hanging in the church fall to the ground, blood flows from the walls like tears. Leslie understands that every prophecy in the book is true, and the conclusion is only one will survive the Sohn Gate. When they piece together the 4 pieces of the map, it reveals coordinates that do not appear on any map of the world. A deep forest crevice. Where the soil is colorless, the trees have no leaves, and sound does not exist. They arrive there on the night of a total lunar eclipse. The gate appears, not in physical form, but in presence, invisible to the naked eye, but their bodies tremble as they approach it. Beyond the gate is a reverse dimension, where all laws of physics are broken, where memories are swallowed and distorted. They must pass through, one by one. To not miss any of the next shocking developments, don't forget to follow and subscribe to our channel today. We will continue to bring you exclusive analysis, creative content and surprising theories about Beyond the Gates and many other interesting films. See you in the next videos.